Welcome again to our podcast. I'm Kukwa.
Oh, and I'm Kobe. Sorry. I thought you were going to do it anyway.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
It's been a while.
But we're back.
Pardon my voice. It's a little bit hoarse. But today...
She was preaching yesterday.
I do the most. But yeah.
Preacher woman. She's not used to it.
My voice is just... it's just telling on me.
Mine is just kind of like, you know it's the deal. Like, what's going to happen. But yeah,
anyway, we have an exciting topic today. If you already know, we do discuss a lot of stuff relating to relationships, marriage, and all that good stuff. And today we want to talk a little bit about the awkwardness of a first date.
Yeah. The importance of it as well.
The importance of it, but more particularly, the highlight of the conversation is things you should be looking out for on the first date, questions you should be asking, conversations you should be having.
Yeah.
And just to set the background, we are Christians.
Yeah.
So a lot of our advice and, comments and stuff would be very much related to the Bible and the Word of God.
100%.
So I think we're married 8 years now. We had our first date maybe about 10 years ago.
Was it?
It was like 2 years before we got married.
It couldn't have been 2 years before we got married.
Or maybe 2 years because we took a year to plan the wedding. So
it was like a year? Oh, okay, maybe, 2 years. Okay,
so 2 years, yeah. So 2 years before we got married.
We didn't go on that many dates, did we?
No. Okay, so for those of you who didn't know, we had a long distance relationship.
Yeah.
He lived in the UK, I lived in Ghana. And so we probably met maybe about 2 or 3 times. On 3 occasions. So he would travel to Ghana.
Yeah.
He traveled on 2 or 3 occasions before we got married.
I think most of it was just spending time together more than actual going out on dates. Just getting to know each other.
I think we had just one date, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to think of if we went to the
date.
cinema or something, but everything else was after we got married.
Yeah.
We went on loads of dates after we got married. We went to get food, we went to the cinema, we went out to different restaurants and just went so many places after we got married.
Yeah. Before then, it was just spending time.
Before it was, just spending time and getting to know each other.
But we did have a first date. First and only date.
First and only.
What was that like for you when you were planning it? I think I chose the place or you chose the place. I can't remember.
You chose the place. I didn't know.
I chose the place because it wasn't my uni.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
It was... I just wanted to spend time with you. I think that's all it was. I think at that stage...
Were you nervous?
No. Not at all.
Stop being guy.
No.
Little bit.
Okay, let me... No, I wasn't nervous at all. I think at that stage...
Yeah.
I knew you liked me. It might be different for other people because the first date is the first impressions.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? This is your chance to show your best foot forward for that people. I knew that you liked me.
Okay.
You knew that I liked you. We knew that we kind of had a thing going.
I knew you loved me.
We had a thing going and we wanted to get married.
Yeah.
That one we knew for a fact. Mm-hmm. So just going was just... We were spending a lot of time together in your at uni, at where I was staying. We're just going around. We're going to Accra. We're going back. We're just about. Do you know what I mean? But this was just a time for us to actually spend time together and just have quality time. And the only difference was I was paying for it rather than I was just sitting at home talking and then eating takeaway or something.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't really nervous because we already kind of knew.
Yeah. Okay. So to help our audience, for those of you who don't have that kind of, because we knew each other. If you know our story, we were born pretty much I don't want to say into the same family because then it sounds weird, but we were literally born
family friends
and all of that stuff. So we kind of knew each other before then. But I think for me, the first date, because you lived in a different country, I was very keen on knowing you. I was keen on just like paying attention to you. So me getting ready for that date was in my mind whilst preparing. Of course, I wanted to look nice and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We actually have a video. Maybe I will insert that video somewhere.
Well, which video are you talking about?
The first date, we recorded some videos, some short videos.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Maybe we'll insert that video
Yeah.
somewhere for you guys to see. But you can even tell not the awkwardness, but that was not our natural selves.
What do you mean?
Come on. They'll see the video. They can tell that was our natural selves. We had like a put on self, like a social self, in the sense that, I mean, we'll see the video. The video speaks for itself.
Hi, my name is Kukwa.
Alberto.
My name is Kukwa Ohima
Alberto.
Asante.
Alberto.
And I'm an architect, and at the same time I'm a woman of God, and I'm not mad.
We're done.
Okay, hi, boy. Hello, fame. What is it?
What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
But I'm just saying that to say that even though I liked you, I was still paying very close attention to you. I think the first thing was even the way you showed up. Like I paid attention to how you dressed. You might not, I'm telling you this now, but I paid attention to it. I was actually making sure that you dressed the way I liked.
What did you think?
I mean, you did great.
But you had seen, so you had seen me going to church
I'd seen you in
and stuff
church.
like that. Yeah,
yeah,
so,
but that's not outing. I'd seen you. We have a
so
way
when you
we
thought
dress.
like, I'll dress up nicely for church, and then when we're going,
Yeah,
wear
there's a way
slippers.
people dress. I mean, church is what Sunday best, so people just
Fair enough.
But I wanted to see how you look like outside church.
This
and
is so interesting. Like I'm actually.
I
just
was very
fascinated.
keen on that, and then with the conversations, I also wanted to know if you could go with my natural self. And I know
but
I
then
can
you said
sound hold on. I
Okay.
know you said I sound contradictory because I wasn't my natural self, but I knew me. So every now and then, I would give you glimpses of my natural self, and I would see how you would go on with it. And then if you went along with it, I was like, okay, I can be cool with him in that sense. But if you didn't egg it on, then I'm like, okay, maybe he's just put together, reserved. Because let's be honest, you didn't think I was crazy.
No, okay. See, so this is what, like, it's a good thing I wasn't nervous because I already knew where we stood before we went on a date.
Yeah.
We were just basically going on a date just to. I thought that's what I thought anyway. We were just going on a date, just another way of spending time with each other. But for the guys who are actually going on first dates, it can actually make them nervous thinking like that. Like, she's going to be watching every single little thing I do.
When we were going on the first date, that was the first time we held hands, wasn't it?
No.
Was it not?
No, it was not.
Had we held hands
Yes.
before then? Okay, cool.
On the day that I landed in Kumasi, we held hands.
What, at the airport?
No, you didn't meet me at the airport.
Okay.
I met you at Michael's dorm.
Okay, cool. Got it.
And then when we got out.
Yeah, and then we held hands there.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Anyway, but did you have questions for me on that date? Did you have, were you looking out for anything on that date, or was just purely spending time
For me,
together?
it was purely spending time together because most of the questions I had asked on the phone.
Okay, so let's put ourselves in the context of our audience.
Yes.
What are some of the questions that you would expect them to ask, particularly for you? Maybe yours was not on the first date because we grew up as family.
Yeah.
But for people who didn't, have that relationship before they made it official,
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you'd say they should look out for or they should talk about when it's official?
I think one of the things that it may seem like very, very, like what's the point of asking, but it's very important is what's your idea of having a good time? What's your idea of fun? I think covering that subject is very important because when you have free time, you guys want to have a good time together.
Yeah.
And if one person is a home person, and the other person is an outgoing person, and you have that contradiction
Yeah.
in your life, it will make it very, very difficult in the future if
Yeah.
you want to go and do something, or if you have to like, if you feel like you can have that balance, so you can say, okay, cool, sometimes I can go out, sometimes I can stay in, sometimes I can do what she wants, sometimes I can do what I want, and that's fine, then cool, go for it. But if it's someone who loves being at home, like doesn't like
Yeah.
going out, and you are someone that loves being out, it's
Yeah.
something that you just have to find out. So find out, what do you like to do for fun?
Yeah.
What do you like to do for fun?
But you know what actually interests me? When we were getting to know each other, and I know you might say it's not true, but when we're getting to know each other, you used to tell me you loved shopping. Don't tell me you don't.
No, okay.
Be honest.
Okay.
You used to tell me, I really love shopping. You were like, I really love shopping. I really love shopping. And then when I moved over to the UK, you just hated it.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Like, my definition of shopping is different from your definition of shopping.
Still, you don't even go to the shops anymore.
If I say,
Even if I said, babe, let's go to the shops, you're doing it more for me than for yourself. So you didn't like
110%.
So you didn't like shopping.
No, because
You
my
lied to me.
No, no, because
You
my
lied to
my
me. You
definition,
tricked me.
My definition of shopping was, I know what I want. Do you know what I mean? I know the style that I want. I know the things that I want. So I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna look for a specific thing, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the thrill of looking around, checking if I can find it cheaper, checking
And
if I
then
can find a
what
better
changed?
quality one. Your definition of shopping is, let's go out and see. So we're literally wandering. It feels like no. It feels
Babe,
like
that's not true.
No. Even when you know exactly what you're going to the shops for,
I would see if there are other options.
you would have a look around and you will check and you ask questions, and then you'll go and try it on, and then you'll change your mind, and then and all of that will be in one shop, and then we'll go to another shop, and then we're going to repeat the same thing over. That's not shopping.
That is shopping.
For me, that wasn't shopping. That's just trying clothes on. But for me, I enjoyed going shopping, as in I love the thrill of going there, getting what I wanted, getting new clothes.
Yeah, that's
and then trying
typical
out.
of men, and that's typical of women in my scenario. So
But that's
I
what
think,
I'm saying. It doesn't mean I don't like shopping. It just means
Yeah, but
that we have different definitions of shopping.
Fair enough.
Do you know what I
Fair
mean?
enough. Anyway, I think for me, the most important question I will ask a guy is, not a guy generally, but for you, I really wanted to know what the non-negotiables were. I think even up until our 8th year of marriage, I keep saying that I would never, ever, ever stand in the way of your ministry, because I know that those things are non-negotiables.
Yeah.
And if I ever caught myself in that position, it will probably be the breaking point of our marriage.
Okay.
So for me, I wanted to know what is a non-negotiable for you, and understanding that was ministry, pretty much aligned with mine as well.
Your values.
And I'm not gonna say that it should be the same for every couple, because our purposes may be aligned, may not be the same.
Yeah.
But you
Someone's
want to
ministry could be geared towards family.
Exactly. But essentially what you want to highlight is the fact that, there's something very important to them.
Yeah.
And it's so important that nothing else can take the place of that.
Yeah. 110%.
So I think something like that will be a very defining moment for any relationship or marriage.
Yeah, like where's your purpose? Like, that sounds so rude. Like,
What's your
purpose?
Why are you alive?
Yeah. No, I think just having an idea, and I think this goes more towards actually no, it can go both ways. But I mean, gearing towards men is very important, because men need to know, like, have an idea where they're gonna lead the family. Do you know what I mean? If I'm gonna follow you, but as a woman as well, I feel like as a man, you should also know if your purpose aligns with the woman's purpose.
So what would be the question to ask?
What do you want to do with your life? Like, what's success to you? Like, what makes you happy? What will make you happy if you accomplished in a year's time, like, and you said, okay, cool, I've taken a step towards what I want to achieve. Because if, for example, the woman's purpose and interest is more geared towards, traveling and going around and doing all of these different things and exploring, and her ministry is to go to different countries and build houses in villages for people, or dig wells for people, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you have been called to be a pastor in a church, and you have been planted in one church, and you don't travel as much. You have to be at one place at one time, geared towards the same people. Are you guys going to be able to manage that? Because one person is going to give up something. Do you know what I mean? If I'm making you stay in the house because I have a church to build, then you're gonna feel like, oh man. And then at any point, if you're having any disagreements or anything, you're gonna think, oh, I should have been traveling. I'm here with you, and or if he's going away and he's traveling around, going to different countries, and all of doing all of these things, he's gonna miss this fulfillment of what he was called to do. So I feel like also knowing what the woman was it's the woman's purpose in life, so that you're not taking anything away from her.
Okay.
But you're adding to her. So I believe like in our relationship, my purpose, as a pastor, as a leader, and someone who's geared towards ministry through the pulpit, right, is not far away, or it didn't take you away from what you wanted to achieve in your life. If anything, it helped. It helped. You learned lessons. You were able to be exposed to certain things that we were strengthening each other with, and we helped each other with. Like after you finished ministering yesterday, we were able to sit down and say, okay, cool. So what are the things that we could do? What are the things we can improve?
Yeah.
We can encourage each other. When it comes to writing messages, we can like share messages and share ideas and all of these other things. So we kind of help each other become better in our calling with God. So I will personally, as much as you need to know what the man and his purpose is, you need to also know what the woman's interest and what, if it aligns and you can help each other with it.
Yeah.
I think that would be a very, very good question to ask.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's another thing.
I would personally ask, I think we learned about this closer to when we were getting married.
Yeah.
We learned about our temperaments.
Yeah.
So I would definitely ask, I think it's by Tim Hayes or something. There's a book called Why You Act the Way You Do.
Yeah.
And it tells you about the 4 different types of temperament. So on a first date, I will ask the person if they knew their temperament, because I think it kind of shapes what the dynamic of your relationship looks like in terms of how you interact with each other, your strengths, your weaknesses, and all that kind of stuff. So I would definitely ask what their temperament is, and I would share mine with them as well. I think when we were dating, we did the test to discover.
Yeah. But mine wasn't really much of a surprise though.
It wasn't much of a surprise, but then I think I'd always told you that I personally was never looking to change who you were. Sometimes people feel, especially if you're their extroverted temperament and then the 2 introverted, 2 extroverted.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're an extroverted temperament, you feel like you need to make the introvert like you because you exude a certain level of energy and excitement that they sort of manage and, tone down.
Yeah. But it can go the other way around, where sometimes the introverted people
the introvert
can feel boring.
also wants to, you're like, you're too much, you're too crazy.
But we like, sometimes it's like, I'm saying we, like sometimes introverted people will look at extroverts and be like, am I boring?
Oh, yeah.
Like, am I the problem? Am I just boring?
It's perspective, because even though I'm extroverted, the fun things I like to do are introverted stuff.
Like what?
Like, I would like to sit down and watch a movie with you. I would like an intimate date. I'm not let's go jump and play games. We've done that before and it was exciting. Don't get me wrong. But then my fun stuff are usually not the typical extroverted stuff. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all perspective. But I would definitely ask that question just to make sure that I'm setting my expectations well. And if they're not giving me the level of energy that I expect. I don't, second guess and think maybe he's not
interested
into
in
me.
Yeah.
It's like maybe I'm doing all the talking, he's not talking, and So I would definitely ask that. I
Okay,
would.
fair enough. One thing I would definitely ask, it came to mind,
Yeah.
was what do you do in church?
Okay.
I think that's a very interesting
But
question.
would you ask that because you're in ministry? Because
No, I think it's important for everyone to be serving in church.
every single one.
In some capacity, yeah. Well,
Imagine a 20,000 seater church.
No, okay. So think about it. Even if I'm not saying I would prefer if everyone had a part to play.
Yeah.
In terms of serving, not just in church, but serving in a ministry,
In the kingdom, I would go with the kingdom,
what I mean?
but I think in the church.
Maybe church was the wrong word, but like, how are you serving in your kingdom? Like, what are you doing? Home cells? Are you going to home cells? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I think it's important because one person could be active in church and the other one is not, and then you can despise the other person for being like too church going, like going Wednesdays, going Fridays, going this day, and it's like, always church, always meeting, always this.
That's true.
So always ask, what do you do in church? And it's a good way to find out, like, if they're just
they even go to
religious.
church. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Rather than having like a relationship.
And I love that you raised the subject on religion, because I think it boils down to relationship.
Yeah.
And when someone has an authentic relationship with God, it translates in how they serve God and God's people.
Yeah.
It just naturally translates.
Yeah.
You may not necessarily go and stand behind the camera. You may not necessarily do the traditional church roles, but you have a certain level of involvement and interest in the ministry that even if you were not doing it on the front line, even in the back end, you want to do something, you're calling people who are in, leadership positions to ask, how can I help? Even if it means financially contributing to it without actively doing something. So the nature of churches now, particularly charismatic churches, have become very intense.
Yeah.
That if you are in a relationship with, I know people who would actually just stay away from people in ministry because they can't handle the busyness of it, particularly if they're serving in some capacity in like frontline ministry, because it doesn't necessarily mean they don't love God when they're not constantly coming to every service, but maybe by nature of their business, by nature of their career, by nature of their calling, they
haven't got the time.
They just can't be there. You know what I mean? Like they just can't be there. Perhaps they're traveling all the time. They just can't be there. But I think beyond routine and religion and what, people used to check the boxes now to say this person is a good Christian because they go to every meeting and stuff like that, would be, where's their heart with God? And can you tell if they really and truly love God? When you sit down and have conversations, does the subject of God even come up?
Yeah, that was going to be one of the next questions I would say that you should ask, would be, how did you encounter Jesus yourself?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How did you encounter? If they're not able to answer that question, then it makes you think,
are they just religious?
So I think maybe the whole thing you want to find out is, have they got a relationship with God, or is it just a thing that they just go into church? And because it's nice to be dating someone who's a Christian, who goes to church and everything, but it's even more important to date someone who has that personal relationship with
on
God.
The subject of relationships, I would actually ask, what's their relationships like with their parents?
Oh yeah,
I would like to know.
And what's the parents' relationship like?
Yeah, maybe their parents' marriage.
So like your relationship with them and their relationship with each other.
Yeah.
Because their relationship with each other can reflect on how you treat me.
Yeah. Or even it sometimes reflects the values about marriage that you've picked up subconsciously because that's what you saw in your home.
Yeah.
But I would ask about, as a woman, I would ask about his relationship with his mom and dad, just because I think it defines how he would treat me. And if he has a healthy relationship with his father, I can tell that he's been brought up, got good principles about being a man and leading the home.
Yeah.
And if he has a good relationship with his mother, I know that he has that tenderness and softness to handle a woman.
Do you know what came into mind?
Yeah.
Sorry, to finish what you're saying.
No, you go on.
Do you know what came into mind, right? It's so interesting how God works, right? Because I know your dad was like really, really hands-on in the house.
Yeah.
You know, he cooked, he cleaned, he did most of the
Yeah.
stuff. Do you know what I mean? Some will say even like you probably say sometimes
No, because for 5
he was a
years, my
leader.
mom had traveled out of the
so
country, so he took
was
care of us.
man, like really hands-on.
Yeah.
When it came to such things.
Yeah.
And that's my mom. Do you know what I mean? My mom
Yeah.
is really homey, hands-on, looking after things. And your mom is a lot more of a business kind of woman where she tried different things. She tries
was working
experiments,
a
she
lot,
travels,
yeah.
she goes to different places. And that's my dad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like if you had picked up your mum's side of the business, and I had picked up my dad's side of the business, and then we both came together, it would be like
there'll be no one dedicated to the home.
the house. But I've picked up more of like the mum side of the side where it's like nurturing. And not to say like obviously there's got to be a balance. Everyone has to keep the house clean and stuff like that. Like there's no way that one person's
But
gonna do that.
you have a very great relationship with the kids, and you're very.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's
you're very attached. I don't want to say attached,
like
but
motherly and nurturing kind of thing. And I think it really helps with my ministry. I just like look after people, help people.
I was gonna say that I was telling
and then
someone
you have that business mindset where it's like, okay, so where can I venture next? What can I try this? Like sitting still in the house irritates you. You want to go out. You want to do something. Yeah. And it's interesting how God makes me, because I'm the firstborn. Like people will always think that the firstborn will pick up after their father.
Yeah.
But I picked up after my mom in terms of these.
But the good thing is it's very much aligned to your call and your purpose. I was telling someone yesterday that you have such a heart for people. And this is not to say I'm a horrible person and I don't like people. I love people. But you're just naturally inclined to people, and you have that tenderness to relate with people and manage people and just accommodate people. I said the other day that I'm learning, and I can see in the progression of my life that my heart has enlarged more than it used to be. Like I've learned to accommodate people more. It didn't come naturally to me because growing up, I just in my personality, I was just more of a, okay, you need to fix up. Like, why are you like this? Like never really took my time to understand people with their cultural background and context and what shaped and defined their life to sort of explain why they're where they are. Yeah. You know? But and it really much aligns with your purpose. That's the best way I can put it. Well, someone told me the other day that the best pastors are phlegmatics because they are not so strong-willed that God can always have his way in them. Yeah. You know? And sometimes when we're also so bent on it's this way, it's structured, there's only very little room you can have with God for God to do his work. Not to say that the Holy Spirit cannot influence your character, but, you know, if that's your natural temperament, then it's easier. But yeah, I would ask about relationships because I want to know that you can lead me and you can also be gentle with me and soft with me. Yeah.
You're saying it like you're not married yet. You're already married.
No, I'm saying it and I'm fantasizing about it because I've got it. Like I've got a man that can lead me and lead my home, and because of his leadership, I can submit to. Yeah. But at the same time, I've got a man who is very gentle with me and graceful to me and accommodates me and you know, shapes me and helps me become a better person. And I couldn't have it any other way.
Well, it goes both ways because I could have been too much of a phlegmatic. And phlegmatic people don't tend to do too well in the corporate world and other things. So I've learned how to pick up and be a bit more, you know, forward when it comes to certain things, just facing certain things and getting it done. You know, the attitude of let's just do it now. I'm still picking, I'm still learning. Yeah. But you know, I've learned that if you go towards one side too much, you have a problem. If you go towards the other side too much, if you're too phlegmatic, you don't get stuff done. When you're too choleric, you're just always busy. You don't get rest, and you just wear yourself out. So having that balance in between is something that we're both learning to do.
What would be the best way that you could ask a man about his finances without saying how much do you earn, because I think it's also an important conversation to have.
Yeah.
You don't, I mean, you would definitely know the kind of job that he does, but you also want to know if he's got good financial standing
Yeah.
to be able to take care of you as a woman. So what's the best way to ask that question?
I think if you
Let's
start
role
off,
play.
Yeah,
We're on a date.
If you start off, well, so I'm the woman.
No. Oh no. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
then-
come on, man. Let's not
Yeah.
let's not role play that, man. I'm not doing that.
No.
From
Okay,
a man's
okay,
perspective,
yeah,
what
go.
I would love, what I would love to hear is, don't start off with how much money do you make, because it sounds a little bit superficial.
Clearly, yeah.
Start off with where I want to be.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So where do you want to be? You know, in by this time next year, or
Okay.
in the next
Related
few
to
years.
their career.
Related to their career.
Okay.
Related with their finances. Like, how much do you want to be making?
Yeah.
In the next few years. If someone's like target is to say like, okay, cool, in a year's time, 2 years time, I want to be making 50K, then you can gauge roughly where they are at the moment without even having to ask.
That's actually brilliant.
Do you know what I mean? So if you maybe they're in 2 years time, if they say they want to make 70, then you can gauge maybe they're on 60, then maybe they're on the
Yeah.
50s, you know. So it can
It
help
helps
you
you
with that,
gauge.
yeah. And if you ask that question, and without still asking directly how much are you making, you can still ask financially, where are you? You know, that could be so broad that you're not asking
Figures.
Yeah,
You're not
do you know what I
asking
mean?
for figures.
Like, if he's able to say, well, I'm able to save this amount, that's a check.
Yeah.
You know, if he's able to say, well, I have money left over, or like I don't have to, you know, I don't have to go on
Yeah.
overdraft, or I don't have to wait on the next paycheck. I have more
Yeah.
than enough to. Then those are all ways of you gauging
Yeah.
where he is financially. You can get the numbers after you get married, but I mean, there are ways that you can ask a man, you know,
Yeah.
to find out where they are
Yeah.
without having to directly ask them
About the money.
how much money
and
are
I
you
think
making.
also, now that you're saying it, like, I'm just looking at it in my perspective of life and finances.
Yeah.
And maybe for me, if I'm getting married, I would expect that maybe in the next year or two that we get married,
Yeah.
we should have had our own home, or we should have had like an investment fund for
Yeah,
the children, or we should have had XYZ. Maybe you want to take your kids to the private school, you know, all these kind of things, or maybe you want to set up businesses. I think someone's level of ambition and how they describe the ambition can give you an idea of
details in
how
it.
they see
Yeah.
money, because it may not necessarily be the figures, but I think the drive and the ambition. But even though it's not the figures, sometimes too, ambition doesn't put food on the table.
And also, you know what? Yeah, you know what's also important, even probably more than how much they're making, is how they manage their lives.
Yeah.
Like, look at how they're managing the
Yeah.
things that they do have. Do you know what I mean? They may not have a brand new car, but the car's in good condition. They look after it properly. It can show that they're the kind of people that even if they're making 30 or 20, do you know what I mean? That they're managing everything well in a way that they have everything that they need. They're
Yeah.
not wasting any money. But you could be making like 120 and you go out on a date, you've got Louis Vuittons
Gucci,
and
Gucci,
everywhere
Gucci.
and everything like that. And you look at them, it's like, even though you're making a lot of money, it's still like
Superficial
you're
and
wasting your money.
materialistic.
Yeah, like, do you know what I
yeah.
mean? So I think having a look at how they manage their money could give you a tell of if you are financially safe and if you can feel financially secure
Yeah.
around this person.
Yeah.
So I mean, don't just think about how much money they're making and
Yeah.
everything like that, but always think about, you know, how are they
Yeah.
managing the money, because you never know, man. Some of them, even though you're making more than what this other person is making, at the end of the month you're ending up with less and you don't save anything. That's more dangerous than someone who's earning less but is able to save 50% of their income,
Yeah.
and then manage the rest nicely, pay rent and do
Yeah.
everything else. So
I've just got one last thing, and this is particularly to help our Christian audience. I think just being in ministry for a while now, I have seen how history and family patterns have affected marriages.
Yeah.
So I would definitely ask questions that lean towards patterns in their marriage,
Yeah.
in their family, sorry. I would want to know, you know, if their parents are still together. I would want to know, maybe some of the challenges that their parents had,
Yeah.
in their marriages with related to child. But like,
That's
it could be so many things, but
that's a whole nother, like, we could
it's
do
a whole
podcast
nother conversation.
yeah, we could do a whole topic on that one.
But I would ask questions related to the history or the background of their family.
Yeah.
Just to kind of know what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah,
because people do say that when you're getting married to a family, you're getting married into a bloodline. So I would ask those questions, not directly because you don't want to come off as, who are the witches in your family?
Yeah.
But you want to ask those questions so that if there are places that you both need to heal, you both need to grow, or you both need to seek counsel from a pastor, from a pastor or someone that you see as a spiritual figure, on how to deal with those things so that you don't repeat the same mistakes that your parents make, because that also happens in scripture, where children have repeated the mistakes of their parents. So I would definitely ask those questions. But I think in a nutshell, you want to make sure that on your first date, it might be the only chance to get serious and ask very important questions, because every other time will be, all fun and games. So you want to try and get questions
keep in mind that these aren't necessarily just first date questions. These are questions that you can ask
as time goes on.
These are things that you should fundamentally find out before you try to say, okay, let's get married. That's the reason why I was saying, like, these are the kind of things that you should not just ask on the first date, but keep your eye open for. The relationship with their parents is how you can suss that out. Family patterns, if he mentions it or she mentions it, find that out. All of these things are ways that you can find out if this person is right for you before you move on. So
sounds good. That's all we have time for today, and we'll be back next week. But then I got
another episode. I'll say it for you.
Thanks for watching. Guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you soon. Bye.
Bye. Take care.